Ew, we gotta do something with this thing. Hey, welcome back to Lowballin' Outdoors. I'm Alex. Well, today we got something just a little different, but a little special. We picked up this old Remington 700 with just a plain plastic stock. We're gonna paint this critter up, make it look a little bit special. Let's see how it's done. Sometimes it's just absolutely fun to breathe new life into some of our old plinkers. Now, we picked this one up and it's basically just a standard Remington 700, nothing fancy with the plastic stock. But we're gonna do something fun with it. What all is involved? That's a great question. Well, first we're gonna do kind of like a camo paint job. So I selected about 3 different colors. Kind of like normal green, a brown, and then kind of like an olive green color. Those 3 colors, I think, along with this little black, should make it pop. Of course, at the end, we definitely got to clear coat it to protect our brand new paint job. We'll also need a sponge. This sponge, we're going to cut it up into like 3 different spots so we can dab it and just make it look better. Don't forget the tape. When you're doing this, grab some body masking tape or some duct tape that's made for auto body. That way it comes off clean and smooth. Well, let's get into step number 1, how to paint your rifle stock. So the first step is obviously taping off things that we don't wish to paint or get anything on. And you know, this is just for fun. It doesn't actually help the rifle any. It's just something that makes it your own. Whatever colors you choose to do, if you wish to make it have different colors on there, that's what it's all about. It's just having a good time with it. Wasting the day, it's better than watching TV is what I would say. So the first step is to get that stock clean. The paint's not gonna stick with a bunch of dirt on it and it'll look like trash. So what do? I like to use brake parts cleaner. I was a mechanic for 20 years, so I always have this stuff sitting around. Brake clean. When it goes on, it cuts everything off. It cuts all dirt, it cuts all the grime, and it doesn't leave a film, which is absolutely important when you're doing this stuff. So once you get it kind of sprayed down, grab you an old t-shirt and wipe it off. It's really as simple as that. And this plinker already looks 1,000 times better. Brake clean dries fast, doesn't leave a residue. The next step in the process is to grab a sponge. You want a bigger sponge because we're going to cut it into 3 pieces because we have 3 different colors. Don't worry about making it look nice. We're wanting a bunch of texture in here. We don't want just a plain Jane stamp. So I will take this and I'll nip out a whole bunch of just random little bites out of it, essentially, just to make it look like that. So we don't have just a clean surface, it's just all blotted up. There's 1, there's 2 and 3. Now that we got all the prep work done, I like to start with the lightest color that we're going to apply, and that's kind of like this flat army green that we're going to go with. So we want to shake it up really good. Now here's the best advice I can give you for this. Get you a piece of cardboard, and when you spray it, make a big puddle of it on your board like that, where it's wanting to kind of run. Take your first sponge and just dip it in there. Get it all over that, and you want to make sure it's thick. So if it does that and where you don't got much paint on it, put some more on there, because we want this thing kind of thick. All right, and we're gonna make our first application. So come on in here close so you can see what's happening. And when we do it, we don't want to just do it in one little spot. We kind of want to dab it everywhere, all over. Starting to look good. We'll flip it over. We'll kind of do the exact same thing to the other side. Put it over here so you guys can see it. And make sure you get some of the paint kind of on this upper rail right in through here, because you don't want that just straight black. We're doing it. We're gonna do it right. For the next color, we're gonna use this flat, deep earth green. And flat colors, in my opinion, I like the best, especially for a hunting rig, and that's kind of what I do. And again, the same thing. Put a bunch of it, puddle it up really good. And really, you don't have to worry about so much smudges and stuff like that on... You don't have to worry so much about smudges or anything like that on the rifle stock, because it's not uniform. And again, just put this stuff everywhere. Make it, just glob it everywhere over some of the other ones so it has a non-uniform look to it, because that's what we're after. We don't want it to look the same all over the place. We want it to be different. Look at that, it's already starting to turn out cool. Or at least I think it looks good. But we still got one more color. Let's go ahead and lay that color down here shortly. I'm not a flat earther, but this is flat earth brown. Like I said, flat colors, in my opinion, always look good. You puddle it up nice and heavy. Aww. I meant to do that. And then you just add it in. When you're doing this, it just feels natural. You're gonna see spots that, man, it needs a little color here, it needs a little color there. And then when it dries, it just looks sweet. Check this out, guys. We're gonna check that out. We'll throw the rifle all the way back together and see how she looks when this dries. Now the last step is a very important. We need to put some enamel over it. And this is clear enamel. It's kind of the last step. It helps seal your paint on there, so it kind of helps keep it on there so it doesn't chip off real quick. And you want to make sure it's clear and flat to match this so you don't get a gloss over it. And that's as simple as that. The cool thing about doing this is if you get a color that you don't care for, guess what? Add a little bit more of the other ones in different places and kind of mask it. So you can literally do any kind of cool color that you'd like. A lot of folks will do blues and reds, and I think like Seekins does a bunch of cool oranges and stuff. Have fun with it. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Now when this thing dries, we're gonna give it an hour or two and we'll go ahead and put this thing back together, and I'll bring you back for the final results. Guys, breathing new life into these plinkers is absolutely a blast. And if you're gonna try it, absolutely go for it, because the worst thing that can happen is you have to repaint over it. Grab one of your old stocks that you just don't care for anymore, put a nice little paint job on it, liven it up, make it look awful good, and it's cheap. And remember guys, get out there and have a blast, whether you're at the woods, range, or the water. Have a great time and keep it cheap.